Good morning, everyone. I just want to warn y'all, I had my senior prom last night, so just bear with me here. Last Saturday, I had the privilege to spend the day in Sykesville, Maryland with my mother's family, who hadn't all been together since Thanksgiving. Although the circumstances that brought us all together weren't ideal, my great-grandfather of 97 being in the hospital, we all got to spend the day together, so close to Mother's Day. It was a fun day full of joking around with each other, sharing memories, and spending time with grandparents, great-grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles. However, when the day came to an end, we all had to say our goodbyes, seeing as the Olsons had to drive home to Virginia the next day, and our cousins would have to go back to their adult lives. So just as we've done numerous times before, we all had to say our goodbyes. The thing about goodbyes is that they're inevitable. Whether it's saying goodbye to your mom every morning when you leave for school, or saying goodbye to your cousin and his wife, two of your best friends as they move away to Texas. We all say goodbye even if we don't want to. In the reading, Jesus was saying, or at least trying to say goodbye. When it comes to goodbyes, everyone has a different way of coping with them. You can do what I do and try to downplay the goodbye in order to keep yourself from getting too emotional. You can break down completely and give in to all emotion. You can say the classic, "This isn't goodbye, but a see you later." Or you could simply just do whatever you have to in order to comfort the other person. As Jesus talks to and prepares his disciples, he comforts them in saying, "I will not leave you orphaned. I am coming to you. In a little while the world will no longer see me, but you will see me." Today we don't typically see God or Jesus in the flesh. Unless, of course, you have a life-changing event happen to you and you truly do believe you saw one of them, such as Frank Edgar Jr., but that's a story for another time. For most of us, we see them in ways such as when the flowers bloom just in time to make your yard pretty enough to have people over for Easter, or when you watch the sunset. Maybe for you, it's when you look at beautiful scenery and know that God created it and he's still around, watching you admire his creation. He's always there watching over us and living in our hearts. These are all ways in which we know he's around, with us forever, even though we can't see him. For our loved ones, though, it's different. We have to know that we are with them in a different way after saying goodbye. We're in their hearts and them in ours. That because of the bond of our love, we're eternally bonded and forever one, taking the other person with us wherever our travels take us. However, knowing this doesn't necessarily mean that saying goodbye will be any easier. One goodbye that I'm not looking forward to as I approach going out into the world on my own is the goodbye to my parents. As I've grown up, they've always been there for me through everything, and have slowly transformed from teachers with rules and lessons to friends with rules who give me pointers and advice along the way. In the reading, Jesus says to his disciples, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." We can all relate to this because as a parent, you want your children to just listen to you and go by your rules. And often as a child, you listen to your parents because you love them, and it's what children are supposed to do. However, as children grow up, it becomes harder to follow some of the rules, and we find ourselves breaking them. This doesn't mean that we love our parents any less. The rule breaking is just something that happens. It's growing up. I'm going to be honest here and say that I haven't always lived by all the rules, and sometimes I'd find myself getting home past curfew, which it wasn't a problem last night. There was no curfew. So it's kind of why I'm so tired, but it's fine. The amazing thing about parents is that even after breaking a rule, they might be angry, but they'll never stop loving you. They support you through everything and build you up as much as you need, almost like your own personal cheerleaders, pushing you to do your best, just as Jesus did for his disciples. He was telling them that no matter what was to come in the future, that he would be there for them and anyone who believed in him and his Father, and they would always be there together in each other. He said, "Know that I am in my Father, and you are in me, and I in you." In my opinion, Jesus tells him this to help build them up and give them confidence. A good move considering that everyone loves a good confidence boost. I remember while in middle school at my Right 13 dinner, before starting J2A, the parents went around the room saying things they admired about their children. I will never forget when my father stood up and kept it short and sweet, something unlike him, because if you know John Olson, you know that he loves to talk. He said simply, Will is the type of person who will get an idea in his head and not stop trying for it until he gets what he wants and reaches his goal. I've never forgotten this comment on my personality, and I've often thought of it whenever things get tough and I feel like I won't be able to accomplish something. This is just one of the many things my parents have said to me that keeps me trying my best. Like how Jesus wanted his disciples to keep trying their best and carry on even after he was gone. He was their teacher and their leader, just as I've had many teachers and leaders throughout my life, many of whom are in this room right now. So much like what Jesus said in the reading, I find myself saying, soon this congregation will no longer see me, but I will see the congregation, carrying them in my heart and remembering the lessons I've learned from them in my heart, just as I'll carry the lessons and love from my family and friends with me wherever my life takes me. And remember that this isn't goodbye forever, but more of a see you later. Amen.